Hi, folks.
Well,
Oh, Ireland just got a 1-0. Yes.
Spectre. I was recording it.
Well, I'll watch it later. I'm raging. And our under 17 girls won their game again today. It was great.
Very good.
Yeah. Pity
Were they
about
playing?
that's
Oh, what competition was that?
European qualifiers in Norway.
All right.
Oh, God. I'm getting tired and getting cold. Well, we've a few more minutes. Hopefully now people will start coming on.
Just going to get a cup of tea.
Yeah, we're going.
Hello? Hello?
Hello.
It's working. I didn't think it was working.
God, can you guys hear my kid in the background?
No.
With his cars. Flaming hell. Holy moly.
We can certainly hear you, Bernie.
Well, that's good. Sure, isn't that what we want? Whoever is participating on the Lenovo tab, could you please identify yourself or you will be disconnected?
Okay. I'm trying to.
Oh, okay. Just tell me your name.
That's
Margaret
Monica.
Dolan.
Ah, Margaret. Okay, well, you're one of us.
Margaret.
That's grand. As long as
Alright.
we know.
Yeah.
So you can hear us, Margaret.
Yes, I can indeed. Thank you.
Great stuff. Can you see us?
I can.
Excellent. Okay, well, welcome. Okay, guys, so now I'm going to officially call this AGM meeting. Hold on, let me share my screen. Okay, guys, can everybody see that?
Yes.
Great. So, first of all, I'd like to welcome you all to the annual AGM. We've had a few of them since our inception, so this is another one. Let's go down here. Here we have the agenda for this evening. Apologies will be from Catherine Gannon. Unfortunately, she was called away last minute. Work-related issue, so she cannot be here. Oh God. Yeah, and look how I wrote apologies. Oh my God, I hate doing that when you're in a hurry. Anyway, okay, so then we'll go on to the chairperson's annual report. Secretary's annual report will, of course, not happen because as the secretary was called away, she may or may not be able to join in later, but probably not. Suffice to say that, yeah, because of the year that was in it, there wasn't very much to report from the secretary's report. We would then hopefully have the treasurer's annual report. Monica or Martina. Has Martina joined us?
Not yet, I don't think. No.
Okay, I spoke to her earlier today. She said she would be here. Okay. Then we will go through the election of our committee officers, close of AGM, a few general notices, and then we will continue with our motivation slideshow. And then at 9 o'clock, we are going to be joined by our guest speaker, Bob Given. Okay. So the chairperson's report is going to be short and sweet. As you know, we were founded in 2007. We currently, as of this minute, have 31 members. We have a new member, Kim, otherwise known as Gordon Kuhn, or Chun, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. He joined us this month. He's an avid amateur photographer and is dying to get back to monthly meetings face to face with us. As we all know, since March 2020, we've been having all of our monthly meetings via Zoom and in accordance with the government guidelines. So we've had lots of speakers covering lots of genres, from wildlife to composition to portraits, fantasy. We've been very lucky to have had lots of really good speakers, and we've also had an educator with Harry came on board there earlier on. Unfortunately, with the restrictions, we've only been able to get in 2 small little meetups. One was in Lochkey Forest Park, where we met up there. I think it was about 8 of us, 7 or 8 of us there. It was a nice, pleasant evening, and it was really nice. It was nice to get out, and this was the first time we'd seen anybody again in a long time. And the second little outing was in Ballinlough. So yeah, I think it's safe to say we're all just dying to get back. We've all missed our friends and our fellow photographers, the crack and the cuppa at the resource centre, and we're just really, really, hopefully, I know I am, I can't wait to get back to live meetings and to meet everyone and just say hi and get back to some form of normality. That's it for the chairperson's annual report, I'm afraid. Secretaries will fall. Treasurer's report, has Monica joined us so far?
Martina.
Martina, sorry. Martina? No. Okay. Well, what I can say, this information was given earlier by Dara, who's checked it for us. We have our PayPal balance of €685.69. We also have some money, I believe, in our bank account, but unfortunately, perhaps we'll find that out later when Monica arrives. We haven't had very many expenditures because we have, Martina, why do I keep saying that? Holy moly, sorry. We haven't had very many expenses this year. The insurance, I think, is the highest, and that's over €400. I think that's the highest single expense we have on an annual basis. Okay. Perhaps we'll get on to, in this case, to our committee members. We've all given it a little bit of thought. Current club secretary is Catherine Gannon. She is willing to proceed with that role should the need arise, or if there is somebody else who would like to do it, to take over that role, Catherine will then be willing to take over another role, which will soon become vacant. So, Catherine Gannon, club secretary. Can we second that?
I'll second that, yeah.
Okay. Webmaster, Dara. As I haven't had a decline from you, I'm assuming you are willing to go ahead.
Yep.
Can we have someone to second that, please?
I'll second it.
Okay. Treasurer, Martina Morris, is looking to step down. Family commitments, just commitments on her time. She cannot proceed. So we have the role of treasurer will be vacant as and from 12 p.m. tonight. So do we have any nomination? Anyone putting themselves forward for the treasurer?
I'll do it if nobody else wants to do it.
Okay, that would be very good. So hold on, let me put this down here.
I'll second Margaret.
Thanks.
Well, I'll propose it then.
Okay, and I'll get a handover from Martina.
Yeah, and perhaps Dara will also do something with the PayPal so that you have access to the PayPal and you know what's about. Is that okay, Margaret?
Yeah, that's fine, yeah.
Excellent, thank you for taking on that role. Social events, currently Anne Doherty. This role, unfortunately, happened at a hugely bad time. So she got off really lightly with the COVID. But we are hoping that this will change in 2022. So we have the role for the social events. Who is going to do it? This basically just entails coming up with good ideas, a little bit of stuff, what we could do, and we'd all help with the planning. But it's just basically that someone has the time, can take the time out now and again and just think, wow, what would we really like to do? Maybe having a chat with some of the members when we meet at night, and just to see what is it we'd really like to do, and then try and action those things. So we have we've one officer left. Marty, would you be willing to take on that role, Marty?
Which role?
Social events coordinator.
Sorry?
Social events.
You've already missed one in the list, which is motivation secretary.
Well, we're coming to that. Because that one's going to need a bit more time. I just wrote them down in that order because that's the way I had them in my contact list.
Marty wants to take over the motivation secretary. I can see it in him.
Well, Marty, would you like to put yourself forward for the motivation?
Well, I was willing to offer if Joe would at least give me a few pointers to begin with.
No problem, no problem.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I thought that was
Now we should really see whether there's anybody else wants that position as well.
Okay. Who would like to put themselves forward for the motivation secretary?
Prepare for the rush.
Don't all talk at once.
Okay, I would like to nominate Marty Cook. Marty, will you accept?
I will, yeah.
Can he be seconded, please?
I second Marty.
Great stuff. And you'll give him all the wherewithal and etc. etc. Great stuff. Well, I thought that one was going to be a bit of a problem. So now, social events. Anyone looking for this? Anyone would like to change around? We've got Potty, you Rooney, 52.
I'm happy where I am.
But he was good at what he does. He was good at what he does.
Oh,
Tommy.
yeah.
Tommy is very good at organizing stuff, aren't you, Tommy?
No, I am not. No, I'll stick with I'll stick with one more.
Of course, I suppose we should be asking the chairperson whether they want to continue in the role.
That's coming further down. So, what is the story with the social events? Have you got anybody going to do this?
Maybe you should start off as a collective first, and then move on to somebody else.
You mean a subcommittee?
I've just put it out to the collective.
Yeah, but that's the collective will have to respond together as one, especially in the times we're in.
They may be ending.
Yeah. So
Okay, so let's move on to the potty. But just remember, folks, we're a club of 31 members. This is our AGM. I think we have 9 people. I think
I
we've
think
9
we've 14
attendees.
participants. I think we've 14
Um,
participants at the moment.
Oh, 14, great stuff. So is there anybody else there? Because I'm sharing my screen, I cannot see. So is there anybody there who would like to take on the role as social events coordinator?
Whether Gary Fitzgerald or John Murphy might be interested.
Are they here?
They
Yeah.
are.
Yes.
Well, I assume
Could-
John is John Murphy.
Guys, have you got your speaker on?
Yeah,
Okay. I'm going to put it out there one last time. Is there anybody willing to act as social events coordinator?
I would, but I feel John might be more flexible than I am.
I need someone to say yes or no. Okay, we'll take that as a no.
Mhm.
Well, I'll nominate Gary. I think he just said that he would be prepared.
I didn't hear that.
I said, I'll nominate Gary. I think he said that he would be prepared. He just may not have enough time for it.
Is Gary here?
Yeah,
Okay, Gary, let me see, I cannot find you here.
Can
Okay,
you not?
Gary, Gary, would you be willing?
yeah, I need, probably need a bit of help with it, but I do.
Yeah, that's of course, yeah.
So,
I don't know if
Absolutely. We all. What are you saying there?
I don't know if it's possible. I'm leaving the committee, but if Gary wanted to help with doing it, I would help him. But I just don't want to be there all the time. If something came up, I would help him do it.
yeah,
Is
that'd
that-
be perfect. That'd be
Oh,
perfect.
that's
yeah.
excellent, Anne. Thank you
I
very
just
much.
don't want to be, I'd do it, yeah.
Thank you.
Well done.
We need a seconder.
Excellent. Okay, Gary, thanking you. So next one is the POTY, Photographer of the Year. You, Rooney? You,
I propose you.
Thanks, Joe.
I'll second that.
will you accept?
I
Yeah.
will accept.
Okay, you
Second
will
it. I accept this mission.
Nominated, accepted, seconded. Well done. Thank you. 52-52. Tommy,
Yes, I do that, yeah.
I propose Tommy.
I second it.
will he accept?
He will, yes.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Okay. So the only one left is the role of chairperson. Would anybody like to take the role of chairperson?
No.
No,
Not this year.
Okay.
I nominate you, Barney.
I am willing to continue in that role if that's
great.
okay.
Brilliant, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's great stuff. Okay, so that will continue. So we've got we've got all our offices filled, and we have Joe. How you've been doing this for 12 years?
Well, I've been motivation secretary, I'd say, I mean, not as long, but I've been on the committee for 12 years at least.
Right. So, Joe, I can only say, take my hat off to you. Say, because that is an exceptionally long for anybody to commit to anything. And I just want to say thank you very much on behalf of all of the members, past and present, of the club. However, please bear in mind that this is only a small sabbatical. We hope to have you back in some other.
Yes. And definitely only a small, a small sabbatical is right. Give me a year and I'll be back.
Yeah.
Good on.
Minute
Hard
that.
to leave. I have a lot of discussions to deal with over, when we get back into the resource centre.
Yeah.
I'll have to hand over stuff and all that kind of crack.
Yeah.
We'll
No,
sort that out later.
That's brilliant, because I mean, we need your expertise, we need your experience. We need you, basically, end of.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is just a small sabbatical, okay?
That's
Mhm.
all, yeah.
And
agree.
yeah, that's absolutely no problem. Okay, what have we got then after that? Yes. Not AGM related.
Before you
just-
move on, Bernie,
Yes,
if you just go back to the last slide.
yep.
Yeah, thank you. Are there any other people that just want to join the committee and not have a sort of officer role? I mean, last year I was just a committee member. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do
Would John
indeed.
like to join the committee? Would John like to join the committee? If you could get a voice.
Okay, is there anybody here attending this meeting tonight who would like to join us on the committee and help out with various roles?
Marty, you might get on to John and see.
John Murphy, are you there? There's a John in the room. I don't know whether it's John Murphy or not.
But look, this can always happen at a later stage, guys. Anyone can come along when we're meeting face to face and say we'd like to join the committee and help out. That is always available to everybody. But for
Yeah.
now, if you don't mind, we can go a little bit forward with the AGM. Next thing is the resumption of meetings, in-person meetings in the resource house, the resource center. I've confirmed them from January. Okay, so as of from January, we are officially back.
Good.
We may have the option to go back in November, December, if the spaces have not yet been filled. The last time I spoke to Nani was last week, and they were tentatively vacant, but we need to respond to that ASAP. They may already be gone, I do not know. How
Bernie,
would we feel?
when you say gone, what do you mean gone?
Well, the council has been using the larger room that we are in.
For the Tuesday nights as well, yeah?
Sorry?
For our Tuesday night meeting.
Yeah, but it's only for November and December that it's unsure. So it's basically first come, first served. Because they've put in that they want it, but Nani had said, no, we're in there first. We have first
We have
refusal.
first preference, yeah. We have first
Yeah.
call on it, yeah. Okay.
But that was last week. Something could have changed. I do not know. So
Well-
I need to have a consensus, a yes or no. Would we like to go
Yes.
back?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
sure.
Yeah, if you can take it, take it. I would get in there before they do.
Okay.
They used to
harm.
always go upstairs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you see,
they're-
they used the upstairs, but because of COVID, they needed more space, so they took downstairs.
Well,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay? So
Yeah.
I'll call
yeah.
I'll call
It'd be
Nani
better if the
tomorrow.
club take our usual Tuesday nights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
that has been confirmed from January going forward. But it
Good.
was just November and December were up for grabs. Okay, Christmas party, guys. Yes.
Mhm.
No.
Let's have drinks on Zoom.
No,
We can all have
we
an
are.
alcoholic beverage.
Dara has just mentioned in chat that next meeting has a remote speaker. Now, would it be possible, even if we were in that room, to have internet access and
Yes,
move the remote speaker onto the screen through the laptop?
it should be okay, yeah. Yeah, I have the
Is that
laptop.
technically manageable?
Yeah, as long as we have internet access through one of the committee's internet, whatever, if they have a, you know,
A hotspot.
use it as a hub, or what do you call it?
A
Is there no
hotspot.
internet
A
in the?
hotspot, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there no
Everybody-
internet?
I've done it before. Dara has done it before down at the resource center, where we use our phone as a hotspot for the internet, and it usually comes through that way.
Right, so I'm taking it from that there is no Wi-Fi in the
No, there's
building?
no
No.
Wi-Fi in the resource centre, no, whatsoever.
Oh. Right. Okay, yeah, but that can be organized.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So how do we feel about a Christmas party, guys?
I would
well,
really go to it.
The last two, I think, or 2 or 3 Christmas parties were held in the resort centre at a meeting, and all we had was just a few nibbles, and that's it, and a few my body oranges, and so that's what was done last 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
Apart from last year, yeah.
Is that what we would like to continue with, or would we like to do something else, considering?
Well, going back, Bernie, before your time, we used to have something in Pub and Boyle, but I don't know. I don't think that's feasible nowadays.
I don't think so.
No.
No, not for the spread of people away from all over, So.
Okay, no problem. So what we'll just organize something a little something special on the club night in December. In that case, we can organize that.
Yeah.
That's if when we take our place in December, yeah.
Yeah, no problem. Membership fees. Just to let you know, this is an advance warning. I know Martina has says people have previously paid in October, November, December. They are actually due in January. They remain the same. Prices are the same. We've decided not to increase the prices, or the fee, should I say. So that remains the same, and it is due in January. Feel free to pay earlier if you feel like it. Just put on it payment 2022. Our 52-50 photo competition will start back again in January. So the first week in January,
Mhm.
we can all look forward to that. And hopefully in 2022, we can resume full normal camera club activities and hopefully get in our usual trip away, day trips, that kind of stuff.
Weekend away.
No, wouldn't that be good? God, that seems like, that would be brilliant. Anyway, guys, I'm going to stop sharing now. I'm going to hand over to Joe. Joe, are you ready to rock and roll with the?
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah. Have I shared that screen there now? Can you see? What can you see?
Yeah.
All right. Right. There's only 19 contributors of pictures. That's only about 4, 5, 6 people. 4 people. So it's going to be a short motivation. And Anne is judging, and Doherty is judging. So now, tell me if the volume is all right. I'll just play a song for a second. I want to see is the volume of the music all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Can you hear? Okay. So I'll play now. Right. Oh. Anne, would I have to show the pictures or
Yeah, you can show the pictures and I'll tell you.
okay? We'll go. There was no beginners, so we'll go to the internet.
So the intermediate one was Mary Lane. The third place was the squirrel.
The squirrel. This one.
Mr. Red.
Oh, yeah. I thought that was good because it was pretty sharp and I liked the dark background on it and I liked the foreground that it was, the light was on it. So
Yeah, it's a flash. Easy known as
Flash,
a flash.
yeah, I think it
Very-
showed up well. If other people, Joe, if you want to add to it, because I'm not the best on
No, no.
describing stuff here.
Well, it seems to me it's a straight on flash off on camera, like
Yeah,
it's a little bit harsh, but still, it as you say, and the flash will always because it was probably late enough at night or
Yeah.
something that was taken that the background was into darkness, so which emphasizes the whole shape of the squirrel and the habitat that he's at. So it's pretty good that way, yeah.
yeah,
But it's pretty harsh lighting. That's all I'd say.
yeah. And the second place, John Gannon with the first picture there. Yeah,
Yeah,
that it, the girl, her face shone up well in it, you know.
probably too well. Yeah.
Probably.
No, it's harsh lighting, you see, you know.
Yeah, and again, it's good because it's an amateur club, you know, and I think it's good. You know,
Yeah.
most people cannot do flash at all, including myself, I might add. And the first place I went to Mary Lane, Katie 2.
Which one is that now?
You see now, I have to say,
first
I
and
was
second
flitting
then.
between the two of them. Right. It'll say on it there. Does that say Katie 1 or Katie 2?
Doesn't say anything on I can't see.
All right. Jesus, well, let's see.
That one says KT2,
Which one?
the one you're on now.
Yeah,
When you
Alright.
rested your mouse over it, a pop-up appeared.
I
Yeah.
don't see it on mine at all, yeah.
Yeah. I liked that one because you could see her teeth, you know, and you could, the reflection was on her lips as well, shone out lovely. It's
But her relaxed mode about it all. Too.
yes, there was, I just liked that one comparing the other one. She
The
was
other one is
more
nice, but yeah, this
yeah,
one is
she was
more,
more-
calmer. It's
yeah,
just
whereas
more,
that one, that's,
Yeah.
it makes you smile.
it does, yeah.
And I gave that
She's
one,
laid back. She's laid back.
yeah, she was relaxing in it. So I liked that one. And
Well
then
done.
the advanced, I went, and the third place was, we see Kayla, this one here, Kayla, Hugh Rooney,
This one here.
this one, yeah.
Yeah.
I love the colors in it, and
Nice background, Hugh.
yes,
Yeah.
it wasn't harsh, or, you know, it was just,
No,
I
subtle.
liked that one,
There's a bit of light coming from the back as well, too, which is,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, just around here,
you can see the light in the eyes.
yes.
Nice
Like
pastel
fill-in
shades.
flash sort of thing, you know.
Yeah.
Second place I gave to Hugh again, it was Seeing Double. Because it was just different. I just liked it because I don't know how you did that. Was that a mirror or what was it,
A
Hugh?
bit mirror.
No, it's just I did the same picture twice, and in the background I just blurred the image and then.
All
put it in
right.
the
But I just thought it was different, you know, I thought it was,
No, I was trying to be different.
yes, I can see that.
It would have worked without the second image at all, Hugh. I like the background itself.
I
that was
probably
there.
would, yeah.
Yeah. And first place I gave to Catherine Gannon, Communion Boy, I called it. Where is
This
that
one?
young man? Yeah, I thought the light on his hands, you know, it was very angelic looking, and you could see on his face, and he had a beautiful smile. And I think, and overall I gave that one first place as well.
Very good.
What I like about that one is the flower arrangement behind his head. It almost looks as though some sort of not a halo, but
Yes.
crown.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's coming out of his suit,
yeah.
Yeah.
attached to his suit.
It was just a beautiful picture, and yeah,
Very good.
and there was a picture there. Where was it?
I like
Very-
this one of Catherine's as well.
Yes.
Mhm.
Well, what
Very
I
well lit.
thought,
Very well lit.
yes, Joe, did you notice there at the bottom here on the blue? It just, your eyes were drawn to that. I would have deleted
Balloon.
that.
The balloon.
That's what it is, a balloon. But
Balloon,
just
yeah.
delete that because your eyes automatically go to it.
Yeah,
You know-
it didn't actually. Didn't I went straight through. I went straight to her eyes. Actually, I didn't go
Right,
to
you
the
see-
balloon at all.
You see, that balloon now
Yeah.
would draw me away all the time,
Yeah.
and it was just.
But blue is your color, obviously, Anne.
I must
must
remember
be-
that. I must remember that tomorrow when I'm in the shops buying.
Yeah.
I was
No,
a bit.
I went straight for her eyes, as
Yeah, you see.
portraits should do. It should bring you to
Yes,
the
yeah.
eyes straight away.
But as a photograph, I went immediately to the child.
Yeah,
Isn't it lovely that we're all different?
that's the beauty of it all. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And
Well,
Joe, I loved that one of yours with the lad, the hand up to his face.
Sean.
Sean, yes. There
Yeah,
was a little bit of fill-in flash. I always use fill-in flash, but it's also because I exposed for the area or for the person itself.
Mhm.
The fill-in flash is actually hardly recognized in it. I don't even see it in the eyes, and I'm nearly sure there was. I'm
yeah.
not sure.
Was
But
was that off camera flash, Joe?
yeah, well, no, it probably might have been. I might have held it up with my hand,
Uh-huh.
but I'm not
Yeah,
sure. Or it could have been reflective light. It
Yeah,
ties
yeah,
in
yeah.
reflective light, actually, when I think about it now.
Yeah.
But this one is, I remember this is taken in France. And obviously the sun was setting. And I remember I was long in the club. It was around it was about 2009. And I tried off this shot late evening. And I tried it with different exposures on the person, on the background, and then lit. So it took a few shots to get it right. But I was very proud of the fact that I got it right, I thought.
Yeah, it's lovely.
With just
It's
ordinary
lovely.
flash on camera, like it was just ordinary flash on camera, film flash. Because you got the detail in the foreground. But
Yeah.
plus you got and that was all in one take, which is pretty,
Pretty good. Pretty good.
yeah. I mean, obviously the shutter speed was slow enough, but not too slow to capture the flames.
Fire, yeah.
You know, the movement of a fire. It didn't capture it actually sharp. It captured the movement. So I'm not sure. I nearly have to look at the 1.125 of a second, and it was taken in 2010 at f9.
Yeah.
So I was always proud of that shot, but I never showed it really. You know.
Oh,
Well, you
Lovely.
have now.
well worth showing.
And I just show you this shot, which I'm always very proud of that shot.
That's
That was
beautiful.
taken during the King House model shoot, which Dara organised, which was an excellent weekend, an excellent day of.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
hopefully that will come back again now.
That was the same shot with the same shoot that Sean was in. Your other
Yeah,
photograph.
Same
Yeah,
shooter,
yeah,
really.
yeah.
Sean and this girl were the two that I got good shots of. And the last one I'll show you is this one. Now there was I had a camera. I had there was window light to the left, but I had a flash lit. You can see the flash actually. You see the shadow up here on the top.
Yeah.
Well, there was a window over here, all right, but it wasn't. It was kind of dark. It was dark evening enough, but I had my flash left on the windowsill to kind of try and simulate daylight coming in the window. But obviously, I didn't get it right now when you look at it there. But so that's what lit up that area there. You can see the shadow on the coat. But it was another half decent shot.
Yeah.
Anything else on any of the other ones?
I like the one of Monica's as well, the one with the horse. I think it was the second one. What was it?
This
Yeah,
one?
that's it. That's the one. Yeah, I
Yeah.
loved that one.
It's an excellent one of
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Very-
loved it. The eyes are brilliant.
perfectly positioned in the frame.
Yeah,
And even though the background, I don't know whether it's the exposure or it was done, post camera, but I'm not sure, but it really makes a difference because it stands out, it kind of puts
Yeah.
the background.
I chuckled when I saw that one and thought,
yeah,
that's an interesting take on portrait.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
what's lovely. Yeah,
And this one doesn't stand out as much, you see, because there's too much in
No.
it. But,
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
whereas the pose of the other one was way better. Yeah. The eyes,
yeah.
head up straight. So that's it now, lads.
Yeah. Well, I had
Joe.
great plans of entering this month. As you know, I had communion, and I took a few shots on the day.
Your own first communion, was it, Bernie?
Yeah, exactly. Got them home, and I was staying up late at night to edit them, downloaded them, looked at them. Schoolgirl error, can't say schoolboy. Not one of them was proper sharp. I nearly died. So I now have to take them again. So next Sunday, when the kids dressed up again to go to mass, I'll have to take them again and pretend it was his communion day. Oh.
It happens.
God, I was so, but you know what I did? Do you want to laugh? I wanted a shot with me in it as well. So I put it on, set it up on the tripod, focused, grand. Timer, grand. Went down, sat down. What Wally here forgot to do was to take it off autofocus and put it on manual focus. So
Yeah,
obviously,
manual focus. You have to do that when you're doing something.
exactly. Oh, I know that.
Yeah.
And I knew it then. It just never entered my head with all that was going on the day. So yeah, that was my, yeah. But look, it's not too bad. I once photographed a first communion with no film in the camera.
It wasn't a digital camera,
No,
obviously.
no, I was delighted that I was after getting 39 photos out of this 36-roll film. And I thought such an error would never again happen. Okay, so who was the overall winner there, Anne?
The boy with the communion, where is he? There, yeah, that young fella.
Ah, cool.
Catherine Gannon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great
it's a
stuff.
lovely shot. Lovely shot. That's what I would say.
It was lovely how it went from all on the right side of his face up to his hands, up the right, and caught his eyes. I thought it was pin sharp. It's just really good.
Okay.
I love
Excellent.
picture too.
Well done.
Congratulations, Catherine. Has she been able to join us?
No, she's
No.
not here
When
at
I
the
used to
moment
take wedding
anyway.
photographs. I used to take wedding photographs back in the 90s. I had done a good lot of weddings, and it was always a favorite of mine to get the bride in a big window in the hotel, and you'd always get one of the best photos, one of the best shots, because it was nice side lighting and it highlighted all, and it was always a keeper. So she knew what she was doing there.
Guys, I've been informed now that Martina has been able to join us. Martina?
Great.
Hi, Martina.
I'll
Hello.
stop sharing now, Bernie. I'll stop sharing.
Please.
Okay.
Congratulations to Catherine. So, Martina? Martina?
Yes,
Hi. Welcome. Delighted that you're able to join us now. Are you feeling better?
not too bad, thanks.
That's good. That's good. Well, we've had the committee meeting. We are looking, or the AGM, should I say? We are looking, if possible, to restart in November in-person meetings in the resource centre if it's available. But we are definitely has been booked from January on. So that's the good news. Margaret will be taking over as treasurer to give you a little break, because you've been doing this for quite some time as well. I would like to thank you for your contribution to your club. It is appreciated, because without people doing the job, we wouldn't have a club. So thank you on behalf of all of us, Margaret.
And you have done the actual speeches and talks and whatever, have
The
you?
AGM has happened. Yeah, that's we concluded that now a few minutes ago before the slideshow, before the motivation slideshow.
Well, I'll just let you know what's in the bank.
Yes, exactly. That's what we were. If you could let us know.
€1,079.56. And
Is in the
Dara
bank.
sent me what's in PayPal, and the 685.69. So we have a total of €1,765.25.
1755.
Yeah, and there's 28 members paid through PayPal. Now, I still have 3 photos from a moment in time where I haven't been able to get the people. And that will be another 125 when it goes in. So in actual fact, we're doing extremely well. I don't know whether you can see.
No.
Probably not.
No, we can.
1,767, is that it? Virginia?
Yeah, so it's very good. It's actually very good.
I'll have a great time spending it.
You will, Margaret. Fair play to you.
Book a flight to Hawaii, Margaret. Book a flight to Hawaii. Okay. So that's great. Well, that leaves us in a healthy financial situation now going forward for 2022.
It does, yeah. We
So-
would have had a lot more, only there was a misunderstanding when a moment in time took place. Because I had asked Tony that some people that took the very big pictures, that I was taking them from the wall for them. But instead of that, he redid them and framed them.
Oh, okay.
So other than that, we would have had a very healthy balance.
We'll be happy to look at that for now, so that's great. So guys, in a few moments, we're going to be joined by our guest speaker, but prior to that, Dara has a poll. We'd like you there, if you can you see it? Can everybody see it on the screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
guys, if you can go and take your mouse or your cursor or whatever and see if you could, if you can answer that.
I'll have to put in neutral in that one because I'm away in November.
But it's December.
Now this is for November. Should
Oh, sorry.
the room for November and December, should the room be still vacant? It could be that it's not vacant.
How do you answer this? Do you just click on the bloody thing?
Yeah, you just click on it. Yeah.
There's a radio button. Just click on the radio button
Where's the radio button?
to the left of the question.
I don't see it.
I don't either see anything.
No problem. Just click on whether you agree on the words, agree or disagree or whatever. Just click on that. That will register.
Yeah, what I've clicked on will say.
But then it would have registered.
All right. Yeah.
And I'll click submit at the bottom.
Yeah.
There's nothing happening with submit. It's grayed out.
No, did you scroll down to finish it?
Have you answered all the questions?
End
Hugh?
poll. End poll, is it?
There's only 3 questions.
So end poll then, is it?
Sorry.
Submit.
Share results. Stop
There we
sharing.
go.
Right. I don't know what the hell. I don't know.
It's
I'm
okay,
clicking
Darryl.
away like hell.
It disappeared.
Yeah, give us another minute.
Oh, yeah.
So going
Yeah,
by
there's
there, 606 strongly agreed to 10-person meetings in January. Is that correct?
Yes.
I have nothing at all on the
I
phone.
clicked that one. It didn't work for me, that one. It disappeared.
I presume everybody's doing this on a laptop or a desktop, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you want me to do them again?
No.
Yeah, just do it again quickly.
Just come up.
All
Everyone
right,
do it again.
yeah.
You want
Clearly
everyone to do
answered.
them again.
Yeah, somebody edited it for me too early.
Strongly
Don't
agree.
click end
I'm
poll,
not-
just click the values you
I
want.
don't see any results when I click on anything.
Don't click end poll. I'll do that in a minute.
You want me to click submit though? Now I've answered all 3 questions.
But I don't see submit. Where the hell is submit?
Scroll down.
Very
Bottom
bottom.
right.
It's at the very
Scroll
bottom.
down.
I don't
Scroll
see it.
down.
I am
Should
scrolling
be a
down.
scroll bar on the
Right hand side.
yeah.
And I'm going down as far as I can. And all it says is end poll.
Don't do it, Joe.
No.
Oh, that's because you're a co-host, I think, Joe.
Mhm.
I'm not a co-host, no.
Well, you were earlier anyway when you were
No,
sharing
well,
when you
yeah,
were
but I stopped-
screen
I stopped
sharing.
sharing.
Yeah,
It
yeah, okay.
says end poll on my one as well.
Mine says submit. I'm going to click submit.
Yeah, I
Yes.
clicked submit. It worked for
It
me.
says
yeah.
end poll for Joe and Bernie, because they're both co-hosts.
All
Everybody
right,
else, should we just submit?
right. So everybody else should submit and we do nothing.
So are we doing these again? Because I've already done mine.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Redo them all.
That was only a practice run, Anne.
Oh, right.
Best out of Clean.
Like the referendum, so we'll try again.
We're practicing for the
If you
next
don't get the right
referendum.
answer, keep
That's
voting.
right, yeah.
It's like an EU referendum in Ireland.
Tell us when that's sorted there, Dara, please.
Still 2 people left to vote. Don't know who they are, so.
Could everybody please vote?
Done.
I have a suspicion that John Murphy has started this and moved away. Tommy and Guihan, you're both the same person, are you?
Yeah.
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 Alright.
Well, and Marty, get to know your club members.
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying, I assume only Tommy's voting, not Guihan. 91% yes, 45% yes. And
Yeah.
73% yes.
Well, I think the results are pretty.
Closes on it this time. Oh, yeah.
1% for Christmas too. Yeah. Person zoomed in, strongly agree, 45. Irish shirts doesn't matter. Look at that. Meet up, hello, how are you getting on? Have some biscuits and. No.
45 and 36 is 81. 81 for in-person meetings in November. 100% for January.
Right, can I close this box now?
Well, if you don't, I'm going to close the one on my screen.
Dara? Okay, can you stop the poll or what do we need
Yeah,
to
it's
do?
all done now, so go ahead.
Oh, okay, so I can do, okay, because it's still visible on my screen. I'd assumed it was still open. Okay, so
Bernie, I wonder if I could say a word.
absolutely.
I haven't voted and I didn't participate this month in the motivation. The reason I didn't vote is that we've actually sold our house in South Sligo and we're going to be moving back to the UK.
Oh,
which means that I won't be a member next year. We might look for another house here, much smaller. We're moving because we live out in the country and we're both getting on a bit, and huge garden and such, and we've got family in UK, so we're going to go back there, but we might be looking for a smaller place here later. But, I just want to take this opportunity of thanking everybody for allowing me to be a member of the club, and I hope over the 2 or 3 years that I've been a member, I've certainly contributed every month to try and put in some nice pictures and compete with you experts. And so thank you very much to everybody for that. And if meetings are ever on Zoom, I'll be there, but I won't be at the resource centre because it's 400 miles away.
Well done, Mike. Thanks for participating in the club, Mike. Very well. Well done.
Yeah, and best wishes for the future, Mike.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Yeah.
To you all.
Mike, what part of England are you going
Best
to?
of luck, Mike. Best of luck. Best wishes, Mike.
It sounds like
Thanks.
it's Kent
Thank
if
you,
it's
everybody.
400 miles.
Well, sorry to see you go, Mike,
Well,
but I am glad
it might be
for you.
370, but it's a long way. And not far on Zoom, of course.
Exactly. Join us in on those.
Yeah.
Well, sorry to see you go. You have been a valued member of the club, but
Really,
I
thank
am
you.
glad for you that you found something that
Thanks for
that
that.
you're happy with.
I should be continuing the photography, and I've arranged already to join a local club over there. So for me, it'll be continuity, but I shall miss you guys.
Yeah. Oh,
We shall miss you.
Ditto.
yeah.
Okay. Now,
Thanks.
guys, our guest speaker tonight, for all of us sport lovers, absolutely delighted to introduce you all to Bob Given. He shoots sports for Northern Ireland Athletics or Athletics Northern Ireland, I'm not sure. He's a former sports photographer at Northern Ireland Sports Photographer of the Year. And I enjoy looking at his stuff on the Irish Sports Photographers web page, Facebook page, should I say. And I would like to welcome him aboard. I think I seen him there 1 second ago.
Yes, you do indeed see me.
Ah, you are, Bob. Well done. Oh, you're in the space, or should I say Captain Bob?
Yes, indeed.
Bob,
The background hides a multitude of sins.
sorry, I didn't hear that.
The background hides a multitude of sins.
Ah. So listen, without further ado, guys, I'm going to hand you over because I can't wait to see this guy's stuff. Bob, take care. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much indeed. Have I permission to share?
Absolute.
Okay, right, let's go. And that should be that. Hopefully you're now seeing sports photography.
Mhm.
Please say yes.
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 Okay.
Yes.
Good, thank you. Excellent. Okay, thank you very much indeed for inviting me tonight, though. Playing second act to an AGM is maybe not the best way to join a club or come into it. I have been sports photographer for as long as I can remember. I got a camera for my 21st birthday, probably the best present my parents ever bought me, and I haven't looked back ever since. I enjoy quite a number of genres of photography, but I always come back to sports. And the one on view there is one of Ireland woman, Wales woman, a couple of years ago at Donnybrook Stadium. Now we'll go on. As well as working for Athletics then, I also provide images for the Front Row Union. I'm a partner in the web page, and we've been we provide rugby images, hockey images, and athletics images. Now, sports photography is not as easy as some people make it look. That was a member of the club mentioned that at a sports photography workshop. I annually did a high jump workshop to allow members to get good images for salons and for competitions. I'll talk more about that later actually, but whenever you see some high jump shots. But I'm reminded always of an eminent NEPA judge who said of sports photography, all you have to do is stand in the right place. First of all, it's knowing where the right place is, and secondly, knowing when to press the shutter. They seem to think, or a lot of people seem to think that sports photography is merely standing there and the pixels magically leap onto your sensor in a very pleasing fashion. Doesn't happen that way at all. The sports photographer's lament: if you see it in the viewfinder, you've missed it. This is Anna, who is the subject of the high jump workshop. She is 5'2" and can jump 5'8". There's not many people can jump 6 inches over their head. Now, she'll never be a super high jumper and a record breaker because she's so small. Most high jumpers have to be about between 5'8.5" and 5'10" if they're female, preferably 6 foot, and then they're actually going over 6'2", 6'3", 6'4". They're not going 6 inches over their head. She also has got this amazing mane of hair, but more on that later. To paraphrase Napoleon just a little bit, he asked, somebody asked him, is he a good general? And Napoleon said, no. Is he a lucky general? There will always be an element of luck in sports photography, but I find the more I practice, the luckier I get. I added this in very quickly. I have a series of ones when I do the full sports photography talk of settings and all sorts of things, but this is a very quick one. Outdoor setting daylight, I set my camera to 2,500 per second or faster. Certainly I was up to 4,000 of a second on Sunday, because it was very, very bright indeed. If it's outdoor shooting in front of floodlights, set your camera to 1250 of a second. You may have to drop that down lower. I was shooting at 1000s down at Lisburn, Lisnagarvey at the Ireland against Malaysia hockey game. Was it last week or the week before? This is something fairly alien to a lot of people. I set my ISO to A. Now, the consequence of that is that the camera, because you're setting your shutter to, say, 2,500 per second, it will attempt to set the aperture to 2.8 or 4 or whatever your fastest aperture is, and set the ISO accordingly. So under very, very bright conditions, it will be setting your ISO to 100. Under very, very poor conditions, it could be 20,000 ISO. But that combination I find works. I first learned this back about 2007 when I was covering the Junior World Cup up at Ravenhill in Belfast, and talking to some Geddes guys, and their comment to me was that Canon spend billions and billions of yen getting their apertures, shutter speeds, and ISOs correct. Why should they second guess them? So I've never second guessed them after that. If you're shooting indoors, you set your shutter speed to the fastest possible shutter that allows you a manageable ISO. That could be anything, but you're trying to freeze the action if possible. I use back thumb focusing, not shutter focusing. Does everybody understand that or know that what that means?
Yeah.
Yep, the button on the back of the camera, it means that you can maintain focus on an individual or the ball or whatever it happens to be, and you're not lifting your finger off the shutter and having the camera hunt before you go back on again. Because I'm using a fast shutter speed, I turn my image stabilizer off. You don't need it. The number of people who say to me, "Oh, but I can shoot at a 30th of a second, and my image stabilizer will freeze the action or freeze the." What it will do is freeze the grass, freeze the track. It will not freeze the individual or the athlete because they are moving an incredible distance in a 60th of a second or a 30th of a second. So really, to freeze action, you're talking about a fast shutter speed. The other thing I always say to do is check out the best shooting options and angles at any particular venue. With rugby, I know that the best place to be is behind the dead ball line and to the right of the posts if possible. And I position myself usually on the 5 meter tram line. And the reason I go to the right hand side of the post is that in rugby, 55 to 6% of tries are scored by the left winger, in other words, to the right of the posts. I used to think that was a bit daft, and then I thought about it. People pass better off their right hand, therefore the ball goes out to the left faster than it does to the right. Now that is the most useful thing that a sports photographer could have in the past year. It's a negative COVID test. You have no idea. I covered a series of 14 or 15 international age grade hockey games from under 16 up to full international in August. Some were one game a day, others were 2 games a day. And I have the inside of my nose and the back of my throat raw from that, because you had to produce a negative COVID test for every single game before you're allowed onto the touchline. Now, moving on, and all these things I keep saying, this happens annually. It doesn't happen annually. It certainly hasn't happened for the last 2 years. This is International Tennis Federation competition, a ranking tournament held up in the Windsor Tennis Club in Belfast. Tracks people from Russia, Ukraine, Korea, Japan, China, Australia, New Zealand, Argentina, Brazil, America, and all over Europe. This is a greater tournament just below that, where the ITF pays for the participants, parents, as well as the athlete to come over, pays for their accommodation, airfares, that type of thing. So because the parents are paying for the young person to come over, this tends to be a very elitist and well-off sport. After you get up to the next level, it evens itself out, but not before then. This has done very well for me. In fact, most of the images here have done very well in salons and other competitions. This one doesn't work well in mono because the ball is lost against the forehead. Shooting down, I don't normally shoot down that often, but I went up to get a drink because it was so warm that day, and got that shot there. A very eminent NEPA judge said to me that I was very lucky to be able to get the ball on the racket and in the shadow at the same time. Think about it. Exactly. Yes, you may well hold your head in your hands. That's what we're dealing with at times. The last time it was won by a girl from Dublin. That's her in tight to the net, serving volley. Big eyes peering over the top of the net. The ball is not out of in, that's where the ball was. Down in the War Memorial Grounds in Dublin, which is down Ellenbridge, in the rain. I love shooting in the rain. This is the Irish international team against the United States team, Australian rules football, and basically I've watched it on TV many times before I went down. I asked one of the coaches run me through the basic rules of the game, and he said, well, when you have got the ball, yeah, you can be hit. And he thought for a moment, he says, and when you haven't got the ball, you can be hit either as well. So it sums it up. It was born in the prison yard in Melbourne Prison, which was oval, hence the reason why the pitch is oval. And they had sets of flag poles at either end of the ground, and those became the goals and behinds. And it features, obviously, there's elements of rugby to it, but there's probably more of GAA and Gaelic football. It's a very skillful sport, but in this circumstance here, the higher you can get for the ball, the better. And this guy has managed to ideally put his knee on the opposition back's shoulder to give him more height.
I much prefer the compromise rules, Bob.
Sorry?
I would much prefer the compromise rules.
Oh, it's just.
Yeah, it's only an opinion, don't you?
They've a term in American football which sums it up, I think. Unnecessary roughness. I'm sorry, another one, roughing the quarterback. This is down in Blanchardstown at the national facility down there. Ireland universities, women against England universities. I have to say the English universities had never actually played before. So they lost the game 106-1. The ball is not added in, the ball is where it was, but it's just a combination of the three faces, and then you get the ball there, and it balances it quite nicely.
Can I ask you a question, Bob?
Certainly.
Yeah. Would you have your shutters on fast, on burst or anything when you're taking those?
The shutter is on in Canon terms. It's on servo and it's on continuous. I'm not certain what the terms are on Nikon or Sony, but that's basically it. And I tend to fire in bursts of 5 or 6 shots. I don't have it on. It does not go off like a machine gun.
So but it must be a pleasure to look at them post and actually view something that you don't actually see happening sometimes when you're taking it.
It can be, but if you're producing images, and I cover maybe 5 games over a weekend or even 6 games over a weekend, you tend not to take too many, because you know that you're going to be sitting down on a Saturday evening processing maybe 3-4 games, and then or Sunday morning, and then going out to another game or 2 games and doing that on a Sunday night. My week tends to be Saturdays and Friday, Saturday and Sundays, and then the rest of the week is fairly quiet. This particular image I called the Aussie Rules Cruciform has done very, very well for me in competition. It's won a number of gold medals at in international and national salons. Do everybody know about Nick software?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. I'm using bleach bypass and painting it back in to get that lovely sort of almost a silvery metallic effect on the vests and to bring out the sinews and the muscles on the shoulders here. This is at the throw-in. This young man plays for one of the Australian rules teams down in Melbourne and comes home here during the winter, it would be, yes. He's 6'11", and he dominated the middle field. He and his compatriot, who's 6'10", and this particular game, Ireland beat USA quite convincingly. I didn't realize there was an Aussie Rules World Cup. Ireland came third, obviously Australia won it. Papua New Guinea came second, and I forget who came fourth. But there's obviously quite a cross-fertilization of players going south to participate in the Aussie Rules leagues and then come back to play Gaelic up here and Aussie Rules. This is probably technically not a sport. It's the colour run. Some wag in the club suggested that I contact a manufacturer of hemorrhoid cream to suggest that they use this as one of their advertising campaigns. Normally you're down here and they're throwing dust and coloured powder over people. These guys are real professionals. They fill bottles full of the dust and even fire extinguishers full of the stuff and fired it out. Now, when I do this, I wear old clothes, I cover the camera and tape up the plastic bag over the lens, and then cut a hole for the viewfinder and tape around that as well. And then I don't take the camera out of that until I get home. I have the car seats covered in black plastic bags. And it's pretty awful because, sorry, I'm going to be disgusting here. The last time I was down there, I started a coughing fit before I got into the car. And what I brought up was multicolored. It was unbelievable. But anyway, I get home and Anne's usually sitting in the front room waiting for me. And she signals that I go to the back door. And I go round to the back door and take off all my clothes. I have frightened many squirrels in the back. And the clothes go straight into the washing machine. The camera gets dusted down very quickly, and I go to the shower, and then I come down and go outside, take the camera out of the bag, give it a quick dusting down, and then bring the images in for processing. Because there's no time involved, you just run around and get covered in this stuff. This young man went around, and the sun came out as just he ran around. So we asked him if he would go around another time, which he happily did. And we said, well, you would try go down another time. So we went around again. This is the second one. The backlighting is, I think, is lovely there. And that's won medals for me. To go one stage further than just powder, the organisers here decided they would have a sparkle dash, as they called it, not a colour run. So they had rather than just dust, it was glitter. In this case, it was obviously blue, that various colours all around the place. The unfortunate thing was that there was a biblical deluge. I have never seen rain like it in August. And what happened was all the glitter fell on the ground and became a sludge. Now, I didn't ask this young girl to go and lie in it. Her mother got her to do it, and I must admit, I happily took photographs, and she was very, very pleased with them. But please assure me, I was not in any way involved in child abuse. Now, people do that as for pleasure. Look at that face. Exactly, and that is go down into your lungs and into your stomach, and it's absolutely appalling. But people pay money to have this done to themselves. It probably constitutes inhuman and degrading treatment. Anne and I shoot for athletics, and I So the one major thing that we don't have to worry about is child protection issues, because all the kids here have signed up and their parents have signed up that they're happy that their images are used. This came second in Photosport, which is the only sports only salon in the world. It's based in Spain. These kids are, I think, the under 10s, and they're doing the 60-meter hurdles. In their case, though, it's not so much hurdles as 8 high jumps that they go over. The technique you see here leaves something to be desired, but look at the faces. I think they're absolutely incredible. At Mary Peters Track, we're very fortunate because we have a bank at one end of the ground and we have trees at the other, a very dense deciduous wood at the other end, and it creates great backgrounds. I've taken the background down because no matter what happens, you always get some prat with an orange or bright red cagoule or anorak on, usually walking a spotty dog, but that's another thing. So that the background is taken down at a certain time in an evening during the summer. The background goes dark and the athletes are backlit. It works really well. The only problem is that those evenings, which are lovely summer evenings, it's quite close to the Lagan, and squadrons of midges rise up from the Lagan and seem to land on my head the entire time. But that's another story. That was taken this year after lockdown, all the rest of it's over. There's 4 sections in Photosport. There's model, color, woman in sport, and children in sports. This will probably be an entry in children in sport for next year's. It's a biannual competition.
What's the name of that salon again?
Photosport, F-O-T-O sport, all one word. It's a FIAP competition.
Okay, thanks.
So they say that young 196 is finishing, and the look on her face and the hands actually bent in, you know, as she's crossing the line. I think it's lovely. Javelin. Whatever young people are throwing, they're generally throwing between 20 and 25 meters. So you make certain you're standing 35 meters back. And I feel relatively safe. Javelin is one of the odd sports because the better the thrower, the closer you can get to them. At the last meeting, the international meeting, we had guys throwing 70, 75 meters. And Anne and I were about 8 meters away from the throwers as they came up. Get down low with a wide angle lens, and you're safe as houses because they're throwing them maybe 60 meters over your head and away. Alex here was managing about 20 meters, but look at it's the expression in the eyes and the catch lights in the eyes. I suspect that young man may have a brace on at some stage in the future. I think one tooth is growing a wee bit back. One of that's Northern Ireland Championships age groups. Somebody asked me, was the young girl a smoker? No, that's just the rust of the shot put. But great facial expressions, lovely blue eyes there, and the freckles on the face, screwed up nose, and the lips tight. Again, the javelin, same thing. I just like the way that the javelin appears as a missile on the left.
Excellent. Love that.
This is Laura. She's a multi-sport event. This is the heptathlon, and you can see the background has gone dark. Those are the trees, but the athletes have been taken down a bit because no matter what happens, you'll always find a group of athletes standing behind. It's just a matter of making them as obscure as possible. Laura, I haven't done anything to enhance any of the torso that much. I love the single eye and the javelin needling through. That was shot at probably from about 8 meters away. Jordan, again, same thing. I think it's slightly the wider lens, but it's just a matter of positioning the javelin and the frame so that it's going out, and the eyes looking up towards the javelin as it leaves his hand. This little lady is terribly demure and quiet and all there is, and then she gets a shot put in her hands, and look at the facial expression and the tension in the neck as she's throwing the shot. And once she throws, she's quite happy and giggly and all, and walks away. But for that one moment, look at the tension in the eyes right through. You can do strange things. Young athlete from Lifford Strabane Club, and this was originally taken, and I saw it a competition in the club on negative space. So the javelin is not, or sorry, the discus is not added in. It's just the way it was. You need to be careful with discus at times, because on a wet outfield, it actually skims a bit like a stone in water, and you need to be careful. Apparently the Romans used to use these things and fire them at the feet and legs of opposition and encroaching soldiers with an idea of breaking legs. And believe me, if one of those hits you, it will break your leg. Wow. Young girl from, I think she's down around, maybe Sligo direction or Cavan. But anyway, I don't know how she launches it, but the discus seems to hover above her head like a flying saucer. And obviously the hair flying out behind her. That's been accentuated just a bit with Mick software, just to bring out that the lightness and the highlights on the hair. It seems that most hurdlers in Ireland are called Molly. There's about 4 of them, and this is not quite perfection as regards a hurdle, but that's her sitting on top. It was a good night actually, because there weren't that many people in the background. I think there was only 1 or 2 people to be taken out there, but that's her sitting on the literally sitting on the hurdle. This was an international meeting. It was probably about 4 years ago now. Partly because apart from this year, there weren't one for the past 2 years. I didn't realize until I got at home that the 2 athletes were actually nearly mirror images of each other. Look at the shapes of the arms and the legs, and the legs are opposites. That's the background you see is the trees at the Mary Peters track. These guys were literally flying over this. This is the final hurdle, taken with a 300mm lens, wide open at 2.8 and probably about 3,200 of a second. Taken at the end of the first lockdown, Nelvin Appia from Longford leading Jordan over the hurdles. And as I say, it's the facial expressions in both of them, screwed up faces. Nelvin appears to be blowing a kiss. I don't know what Jordan's doing, but it certainly is not that. I just like it. One shape seems to complement the other shape. That hand reaching out seems to reach into the gap under Jordan's arm, and it makes a good combination, I think. This is Nelvin literally going over, and that is as near to perfection as you can get on a hurdle shot. The legs are parallel to the ground, and the arms are outstretched. Now, you could argue that Nelvin's left arm and our right could be a little further out, but believe me, that's as nearly as you can get to perfection. White eyes, great facial expression. Some Nick software has been used, the bleach bypass, to accentuate the muscle tone. This was taken at just after lockdown this year. Valentinos, if I get his second name, from Dublin, from Crusaders. I decided actually I would get down as low as I could on the track. Now, I can't lie in my stomach anymore and raise my head. I had an awful injury and a scrum collapse many years ago, and it's now having its toll on me, and I've lost a lot of the movement of my neck, both left and right, and so I'm sitting down and lying back slightly, hence the reason why the hurdles are stretching way beneath the last hurdle, as opposed to the other ones. You can see the hurdles stretching away above. That has done very well for me in competition. Megan Mars, who got a Commonwealth Games standard 100-meter hurdles in that race. Like the facial expression, Megan has a novel habit of closing her eyes as she goes over the hurdle. There's some athletes you get used to and you know what they do. It's trying to persuade Megan to keep her eyes open all the way down, and she'll never do it. Another Molly, great facial expression, wide eyes, great catch light. The catch light's not added, that's the way it was. Laura, get the second name anyway. The girl on the left won. Look at the nails. It could be not quite Flojo, but she's trying to get there. She beat 163 by a hair's breadth. One of the I love covering the steeplechase. The story behind this is that these two young men from Bangor Grammar School in County Down were forced by their teacher stroke coach to participate in this race. There were only 4 athletes of them, and the top 3 would qualify for the Ulster Championships, schools championships. So these 2 guys set off, and one of them did actually fall and come in. But what did he do? He reached out and caught the leg of his friend and pulled him down as well. And both of them writhed around in agony and couldn't finish the race. And so neither of them qualified. So these top 2 went through, but it was so obvious that neither of them wanted to participate at all. Once you get low, these are shot with a 16 to 35 2.8 lens. And I think it's probably about 24 here, 24, 26. It's set at, and down nice and low, I'm lying on my stomach. And in this case, I can just about get the head up so I can look through the viewfinder. And you wait until the guys come over. This area here in the tank is about 0.8 of a meter. This is about 0.1 of a meter deep. And obviously the poor athletes are landing in here and creating a bigger splash. The better athletes are trying to jump so that only 1 foot hits the water and then they're away again. There's one of these strange laws of physics, whatever it is, but I'm lying there and I don't get wet. But people who are beside me or behind me get wet. It's just one of those weird, sorry, that's wrong. I sometimes get the back of my legs around my ankles wet, but that's all. It seems to fly over the top. But you live in hope, and then that's what happens. She caught her spikes in the top and came down straight in. And she got up and came second, but it's just a 4,000th of a second. It freezes absolutely everything, including her. That's one of these weird shots. Now, I put that in because I really like that, but nobody else seems to. It's got, I think it's got 2 acceptances, but she's gone into the water, but the water seems to have come up around her, and it's created this abstract effect. I really like it, but nobody else does.
I do.
Yeah, and it's
That's deadly.
I think it's unusual as well, in the sense that I've rarely seen anything along those lines. That's the normal one, where she comes down. She didn't actually go down. She put her hand down, saved herself, and managed to stay on her feet. But to all intents and purposes, with the water all around her, it looks as though she has taken quite a ducking. Yet another Molly. Only she's doing the final changeover. This is 3rd to 4th changeover up at the Belfast International. Mary Peters again, coming around the bend. That has been criticised by one judge, certainly, maybe even 2, that the look on the athlete who's passing the baton over, the one on the right, looks too calm compared to the tension on the face of the girl receiving it. I ask you to never mind, but I tell you now, look at the tension in the abs here.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. The tension here shows that she may be calm in her face, but the body is tense. And let's say Molly took the baton and went away to win. lovely, the pole vault as well. But you shoot the pole vault from the wrong angle. A lot of people go down and shoot as the athlete's coming towards you and going over. But quite frankly, all you get are bum and legs at that time. What you have to do is shoot from the other angle, so that when the athlete is running away from you, they plant the vault, the pole rather, and they climb up the bar, and then their head is turned towards you. This is Ellie McCartney for a Lisburn athlete, one of the Ulster Championships, and that's her at later Ulster Championships, clearing the bar. Again, you get great facial expressions, the tension in the arms and legs going over, and of course the joy at clearing the bar and coming down. It's the first time in 40 years of covering athletics I got this. The bar, the carbon fiber bar, snapped as Brendan was going over, and this thing took off and flew over my head, and somebody went out and measured it, and it went approximately 44 paces away from the pole vault. That's the amount of energy that's in one of those vaults whenever it breaks. As it was, he landed on his back on the mat, went over, picked up another pole vault, and off he went again, as though nothing had happened. I've toned it down, but there is some dust here. You see, this is carbon fiber dust that's actually come from the break. High jump, other great one. I love the high jump, and people ask me, do you focus on the bar? No, do not focus on the bar, because the distance between here and the bar is over 1 meter. And if you focus on that, you will find that the head is soft. This is Summer Leckie from Castledirg, Commonwealth Games junior gold medalist. She probably hasn't fulfilled her potential, but she was a European under-23 silver medalist, but she really needs to move on, and it may mean changing coaches, but that's a decision she's going to have to make, and make soon. Melvin is also a high jumper. This is the guy you saw on top of the hurdles. Lovely, actually. Ben seems to bend sideways over the bar. It was commented on with one particular judge that that gap makes it. Had the hand been over the feet, it would have probably taken away slightly from the image. Again, it's been enhanced with bleach bypass from the next software package. This was taken after, this is Belfast. No, it's not. It's the Northern Ireland Championships. This is a heptathlete from Dublin. Goes over, eyes wide open, mouth open, arms outstretched, and bent right over the bar. Hair out to the side. Hair has been enhanced with the bleach bypass from Nick, and a slight bleach bypass over the rest, just to emphasize the muscle tone in the legs. Again, it's against that background at the track, which is super.
Would you be using the 400 there, Bob?
I'm using my 300 2.8. This is so he's hypnotized, but anyway, this is the as a decathlete at the multi-dance championships. At the Belfast International meeting, this is a Dutch athlete on the high jump. I have got my title for this. It has yet to go into any competition, but I definitely have a title. Look up there. It's going to be called Live Long and Prosper. Love the teeth, the gritted teeth and the eyes tight closed. If you can't have the eyes open, have them screwed up like that, not in between. This is Anna. This is some of the it's 2 images, I think, from the high jump workshop I run. In this case, it's somewhere I couldn't be in competition, and that is shooting just above the mat with a 24-105, so that it's probably set about between 35 and 50. and Anna's coming over the bar and looking down. You couldn't get that close in competition because you for fear of putting the athlete off, but for that type of thing, yes, it's good. And that's the normal shot you get. Anna's what, 23, first shot her when she was 14, and I happened to comment on her makeup at the time, and ever since that, every event she turns up to, the makeup is always perfect, and you know that everything is in focus when you can count the mascara, the eyelashes, the mascara, and she's got these intensely blue eyes. In competition, I have changed the color of these shoes to blue, because I think that probably takes away from, sorry, I beg your pardon. I'm told that takes away from the image of the fact that they're orange or red or something like that. I should have a confession to make. I'm colorblind. I have desperate problems with red and green. Now, I refereed for 32 seasons in rugby. I made it to Ulster Senior, and nobody ever found out that I was colorblind. I confessed afterwards, but it was in rugby, certainly, if you blow the whistle and you act terribly confidently, you can get away with blue murder, literally. Penalty, keep your hand out of there. Sorry, sir. It could have been any hand that I was penalising.
Davy Mac.
This is up in Coleraine, the River Bann. This is the European Championships, and these guys do two tricks, two runs of tricks away from us, which is not good because you're only getting the backs of people coming back towards us. The unfortunate thing is that you only get a second run if you complete your first run. So, and only about 35% of the competitors actually complete the first run. Therefore, when they're coming back, you've got probably about a third of the competitors to actually shoot. This has taken, I think, 4,000, maybe even 5,000 of a second with a 300 and a 1.4 converter on it. And these guys are doing, and girls are doing amazing trick shots over and around the bar and all the rest of it. It looks a little bit false here, at least. I always thought it looked just around here. But in actual fact, there's a very, very fine mist around the head where the hair has flicked out and flicked off the very, very small water droplets. So these water droplets are actually much less in diameter than these here, and therefore you get this odd effect just around the halo around the head there. And there you are, absolutely proof positive that Donald Trump water skis. He's flipped over the board. The board is traveling this way, and you can see that with the water coming off the back edge of the board. When this gets shown as a print, I would think at least 50% of the time, more often, it's shown the wrong way around. It's shown with a guy, with the head up the right way. This guy is doing his trick over and actually coming over the top of the rope. And it's a matter of focusing on the head, holding it and firing the burst of images. Invariably, I find that the first two images are the best ones, and usually the first one. After that, the other ones that come after it, I think, are insurance images, but that's done exceptionally well for me. Wow. American football in the rain, I call that all hands, and there's actually 6 hands, 3 sets in there. Belfast Trojans against against UCD, semi-final of the championships, and the Belfast Trojan and the Dart caught the ball for touchdown. This is down in Dublin at Donnybrook, when they played the South Dublin Panthers in the last Shamrock Bowl. That's in the end zone, pass interference, ball on the 1 yard line, automatic first down. He almost caught it, despite the fact that this guy has one arm trapped under him here. Shamrock Bowl a couple of years ago, right, more than I say a couple of years ago, it's probably 4 or 5 years ago now. Trojans against Trinity. The players were taken off because the rain started, it became thunder and lightning and echoed around the place. And a lot of the comments from the touchline were that if it was rugby they'll be playing on, but somebody else, rugby players are not playing through a lightning storm with a steel cage in their head.
Yeah.
So the pitch looked perfect when they came out again, but the first couple of tackles, the bow wave was incredible, and it looked very spectacular. Down in Dublin, Aviva Stadium, this is the Celtic Challenge, the NCAA college football, the Boston College against Georgia Tech in white. It started to rain at Newry on the way down and didn't stop raining until I passed Newry on the way back up. There's actually flooding in Dublin that day. It was a 12 o'clock kickoff, but it was pitch black. And we were told we had to be down for 10:30 for a 12 o'clock kickoff, and everybody came down. And the reason why we were invited down was to have breakfast. They served us a super breakfast, and then we went out, shot the first half, came in for lunch. I have to say that I excused myself to go to the bathroom and went out onto the pitch. And from the kickoff, 32 returned up for a touchdown, and that was the only touchdown that day. And I looked around me, and I was the only photographer.
Wow.
The rest had not returned from lunch, and I was terribly popular amongst the rest of them. Every year, the NFL send over 50 young men, one representing each state high school competition, and they do Ireland, England, I think Scotland, the Netherlands, and Germany, and they play one game each. I have to say that Ireland were beaten 54-0, and quite frankly, they were lucky to get nil against the Irish in the 20s. But these guys were super. The eyes probably make it there, and that I call that barely a finger on them, and that's the way it was all day because there was barely a finger. I think they blew up after 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. Otherwise, it could have been an awful lot worse. The background has been taken down a little there, just to emphasize the whites on the player coming through. And again, bleach bypass has been used in here to emphasize the tones and the colors and the right the way through. I say colors, they're mono, of course. Taken 200 yards from our house is the crow flies on the Ravenhill Road. If you get the chance to cover a long or distance sport, a 20K or a marathon or half marathon, don't go to the finish. You will get the most boring shots ever. Go to the last water station where athletes are suffering and they're throwing water all over themselves and they lose concentration as this guy has missed the cup being handed to him by the official. He's thrown one cup of water over himself. He's obviously going to either drink from the other one or throw it over himself, and he's missed it. This was the first lady coming through, and she didn't want to drink any water, but she asked for one of the guys to throw water over her, and then she chucked water over herself. The trail of water is not coming from her own cup. It's actually coming from the guy throwing in from the side on the left. Outside Belfast in Cumber, the annual international cross country takes place. We had rain, I think, for 48 hours, maybe even more before, absolutely solid rain before this. It dried up to the extent that it wasn't actually raining during the event until the men's race, and then it came down. It's unbelievable. The athletes ran about 100 meters and then joined the race properly. And this is on the start, and you can see the amount of water that's just lying on this part of the course. And it got worse and worse. And you got that and it was nicknamed Passchendaele. The parts of the course became a river. It's the first time that Anne, who normally shoots with me, gave up. Halfway through the men's race, she couldn't stand it anymore and went and sat in the car. And I must admit, when I got back to the car, we spent about 20 minutes trying to get the windscreens clear because it just messed it up totally. But these guys, England, Scotland, Wales, Republic of Ireland, Northern Ireland, Scotland, and a few club runners thrown in made up this the field, and it was won by a Northern Ireland guy who was not part of the team. There's an English guy coming in behind there, but it is probably the worst conditions that I have ever shot in. I was warm, the camera was dry because it was well wrapped up, but it just was moving around in a sea of mud, and you need to be so careful because your feet would go under you the least little thing. Giro d'Italia in Belfast, Northern Ireland, a few years ago. There's 2 stages up here, then the stage from Belfast to Dublin. Hugh Wilkinson and I took our deck chairs and sat along here and ate our lunch in the sunshine, and then the rain came and then the race started. And this is the first time trial going around. You can see the rain on the roads. Then we went up to Ballycastle that evening we went to Ballycastle. I knew a small hill outside Ballycastle, which is just on from the Giant's Causeway, and got the leaders coming through. It's quite a boring shot, but it shows the entourage that comes through at the start. Photographer in the bike, the 4 guys, official car, the dark one in the front, and all the rest of the cars behind, together with the spare bikes and that type of thing. Hello, we've got a problem. Oh no, we haven't. Then the peloton came through. You probably, those who are into cycling will know some of the faces there. I really should learn them, but you can see the entourage and behind there with all the cars, all the bikes, and they were slight effort coming up the hill. And what made that shot was as they come up the hill, this guy took off his glasses, and so it's called No Need for Sunglasses. One night I came in from rugby, had something to eat, and went straight out to photograph table tennis. Thank goodness I took the 24-105 for the presentations, but I had still got the 300mm lens on the camera, and I arrived at the church hall, and I am against one of the walls as far back as I could go, and the only shots I could get were of services. I couldn't get anything else because they're moving around and moving out of the frame so much. Table tennis were delighted. They never had so many close-ups, and those are a couple of shots. I noticed that the guy crossed his eyes when he served, and it was in nice and close. That's full frame. That's what I was literally getting, and that's done well for me. Out in Strangford Lough, earlier this year, must have been August, I think. This is the GP14s. It was so calm that the first race they thought was going to have to be abandoned because there was hardly enough wind even to fill a spinnaker. But I went ahead, and I was ever so delighted because I'm an awful sailor. And the language that is used when they're going around buoys is nothing ordinary. It's like dudgeons, and the guy you saw in the back is now behind this, the 2 bell going round, and 4,000th of a second to freeze the spray coming up around these 2 guys who are sitting well out. About, it must be 3 years ago now, we were invited down to Mallow Camera Club in County Cork to hold a sports photography workshop. On the Sunday, we went to a boxing club, the sort of documentary sports type shoot with over 2 sessions with the club, and then I gave a sports talk on the Monday evening. This is in Mallow Boxing Club, and it features people from clubs from Kanturk and one of the other local clubs. Young girl here being strapped up to the age of 13. Boys and girls fight each other. After that, it's separated I like this. I believe actually there's been a couple of AIPFs have come out of this. I wouldn't swear to that, and I should please don't quote me on it. Love this, the eye contact between the guys on the mat doing their sit-ups and the coaches.
And the coaches, yeah.
And then this is all shot at about 20,000 ISO, by the way. And then, of course, because there are cameras there, they held absolutely nothing back. That's Kieran, the chairman of the club in the background there with the camera around his neck. This young guy listened very intently to his coach and then hit everything around him. That's the young girl you saw at the start being strapped up, taking one chin.
Oh.
Down in County Tyrone.
Bob, a quick question, if I may.
Yeah.
When you're up at 20,000 or more, would you use noise reduction later or just leave it?
No, what I do is I'm shooting on RAW all the time. And I on Lightroom, I set sharpening to 100. I set the radius to 1, detail to 0, and then masking probably around 40 or 50. And then I'll add about 20 in of luminance, and it takes away, I mean, there's hardly any noise there.
Right.
And now I'm shooting with a 1DX2 and a Canon 1DX, and it's, I trust it's a very good camera, and the noise levels I think are very acceptable. I can get away with it, and I certainly get away with rugby under floodlights. But there's some of the 72s, for instance, you can't trust them over about 3,200 ISO, and I can't say what all of the cameras are like, but those settings work for me.
Right.
This is harness racing down in County Tyrone, coming around the bend. Close up of one of the individuals. What they call each other is nothing ordinary. They're chatting round as the lead vehicle goes round, and then once it starts, I don't think any of the parents were ever married, you know, judging by what they say. Interested spectators on the far side of the course. It's interesting that the cows were very happy to look at what was going on, but once the silage came out, the heads went down. On the bend, these are all taken with a 300, and this is taken with a 24 to 105 at about 24 to 26, somewhere around that, lying in the mud, face down, and dug in, so to speak. This is one of these sports where you don't wear a bib. Most sports you have to wear a bib of some description. This you don't, because something yellow lying beside the track could cause the horses to spook a bit. So down nice and low, and as the guy comes around, the mouth's open, and you get there's no flash there. Somebody asked me what it was. No, that's just it's picked up the sky and the sun and the sunglasses there. Queen's PE Centre, Northern Ireland Championships, attract kids and adults from all over Ireland. There's a lot of shouting goes along. Backgrounds are absolutely appalling because they're basically crowd barriers with the various banners over them, and parents leaning over shouting, coaches leaning over shouting, and that's it. This young woman danced out, and I mean skipped out, and waved to her parents, and waved to the coach, and the whistle went, and she became a whirling dervish. She thumped and she kicked all around her. And when the whistle went, she picked up her opponent, bowed to her, and then skipped off, waving again to her parents and her coaches.
Oh, brilliant.
But look at the eyes there. Don't mess with me. The organizer were delighted with this.
Oh, wow.
It's got Karate Northern Ireland, it's got Belfast in it, it's got the two logos, City Council, who are the sponsors, and the Northern Ireland Karate Association. You've got Belfast in there, you can make it in the background. And then as the big bonus, the girls in the foreground are almost mimicking the figures in the background.
Brilliant.
And they said that they would have paid a huge money. They paid me a fee for doing it, but they said they would have paid huge money for that image alone. That's the same two girls, and the Scottish girl on the left has just taken one right to the bridge of the nose.
Whoa.
Background has been taken down somewhat, just to try and concentrate the eyes on the athletes in the foreground.
What would constitute huge money for those people?
They said they would have paid about £500 for that image. Wow,
that is.
Yes,
Yeah,
they said, but having said that, I think they paid Anne and I about £350 for the day. so they were happy enough, and I was happy enough. Under TV lights at the Odyssey Arena in Belfast, cage fighting, MMA, which I really do not get into, but I'm shooting with a 7200 up against the wire and wide open so that you don't see the wire. There were some so-called professionals shooting with 24 to 105s away from the net and couldn't understand why they were getting the diamonds from the fence. I tried to explain to them, and they gave up because it wasn't worth it. But in nice and tight there. These two guys, I don't know, there's a lot of choreography goes on at times, but they didn't like each other, and they really went at it hammer and tongs. That's the face of defeat. And I call that the gouge.
Oh, gee.
And you know, it's not as bad as it looks, because I say the gouge and they say, oh, that's awful and all the rest, and I move on. What they don't realize is that the guy who's doing the attacking, that's his hand there. That's his other hand. That's the hand of the defender. That's his other hand. That's his own thumb and his eye. It's not the
oh yeah.
It's not the guy who's doing the attacking.
Oh, yeah.
But it was going to be part of my MPAGB panel, Master Photographic Alliance Great Britain, but it was thought to be too confusing for the selectors and the judges at that time, so it was left out. But it was, as I say, it's called one thing, but it's not.
Oh.
Cricket, great thing. You can sit on a deck chair with your camera on a tripod and focus in between on the wickets. If as you hear a wicket go, you press the shutter and you get the bails in the air and the ball hitting it. You see the bails going up in the air there, and otherwise, this is taken at the World Police and Fire Games up in Belfast. It must be about 5-6 years ago now. And as the various teams came out, the Northern Ireland was represented by the Northern Ireland Fire Service and played Danny Boy, and the Jamaicans came out to Bob Marley track. I think it was Get Up, Stand Up, and there's Sri Lankan music and all the rest of it. Honestly, they had a representing the USA was the NYPD, and you'll never think, honestly, what track they played. It was Springsteen, and immediately people say, oh, Born in the USA or Born to Run. No, they played American Skin. The chorus is American Skin. The chorus is 41 shots sung 41 times about the black guy who was shot by the NYPD officer 41 times. It becomes worse when you think about they had to reload on a number of occasions. And this was before the guy in Missouri.
Right.
Anyway, sorry, this is a guy from the Northern Ireland Fire Service demonstrating absolutely no defensive skills in cricket. But it makes a great picture. The bails are up in the air and the balls. And I was asked, did I put those in? No, that's the way it was. Netball up in the under form, awful. I believe the lights have changed. This is a round robin tournament. They are showing the colours. And I think Botswana and Scotland were involved. I'm starting to run over now. Am I okay?
You're fine, Bob.
Sure. Right. Okay. Polo down in centre of Belfast at the Queen's PE Centre, and the playing fields outside it. The ponies are actually trained to charge into each other, and you get flashing eyes and gnashing teeth. And ears, back, and it makes for a great afternoon. This was on behalf of MenCap, and they charge £65 to come in and have a burger and a glass of champagne and mix with lovely people. And if you were one of the VIP guests, you were charged £125, and you had a deluxe burger and 2 glasses of champagne, and you were allowed to tread down the divots at the various half times, etc. You see the power in the mallet. Look at the burnt around the horse's neck. A cane wrapped right round. This is the girls. Again, lots of flashing eyes and teeth and bared. City Council imported 14 tons of sand to Custom House Square. Now, you've seen Custom House Square on a lot of occasions, partly because it features almost non-stop in Line of Duty. There are car chases through it, or there were cars through it every time there was over the 6 episodes. Let's say beach volleyball, it's a filthy job that somebody had to do it. And it was interestingly, crowds were up, or the stands were absolutely packed with crowds whenever the girls were on. When the men were on, they were empty, you know, tumbleweed blew down them, they were so empty. I'd have you believe that I got the ball there and I waited for that shot. No, it just so happened it was there. Nicely framed. Never miss an opportunity to get the hand signals. That's just to prove that there were men there. This is the hockey. This is Ireland, Italy. Out at Jordanstown. Irish defence won out on that occasion. This has done quite well for me, and I think it probably would have done better. I thought, you know, Italians defence, so I'd be really smart here and try and think sideways and give it a title. So I called this the Sicilian defence, and it may as well have been water off a duck's back. Nobody caught on the whole idea of the chest defence and all the rest of it. Anyway, it's just I love the 5 faces looking around the post, waiting for the penalty corner to come in. This was taken. This is some of the games I covered in August. England under 23s against Ireland under 23s. Ireland won 4-1, I think, on that occasion. There's a number of people who are aware hockey players said, I know that feeling, getting out of the way of the ball. This is called octopus hockey, because 1 head and 4 limbs, getting the ball away under pressure. Ireland against, I think that's Ireland under 23s, I wouldn't swear to, or development, 1 or 2 against Wales. But the juggling that was involved there was quite something. And this was Ireland against England, an uncapped international, because I think most of the English team were away with Team GB at the Olympics, and that was in. But I love the idea of the English guy leaning in, and the water coming up and bouncing around. On to the last sport, rugby. I did my back in exceptionally badly in a scrum collapse when I was 22. I was a tight head prop, and my back was never the same. So I refereed for 32 seasons after that, and I spoiled many a good game. Ulster Schools Cup, which is the 2nd oldest rugby competition in the world. It beats the Ranfurly Shield in New Zealand and Currie Cup in South Africa. I think the King's Cup is the oldest one, which is a London Hospitals Cup. Anyway, Belfast Inst against BRA, and the Wasps are getting the ball away. That's Belfast Inst. Campbell College against St Gerard's. The old joke up here about Campbell College, you know, cream of Ulster, rich and thick. And playing in black there, but again enhanced with the bleach bypass. You get things at times that maybe you shouldn't get. This is entirely by accident. This is an Ontario team against one of the Ulster under 18s, I think it is. The guy's reached out and he's caught the eye, but it's accidental. He's not looking and he's just reached out. On the other hand, that is very intentional.
Ooh.
I think he got 12 weeks for that. John and I thought long and hard before we published those series of images, because he was cited on the basis of those images. We didn't want clubs to think that we were coming along and catch them doing things and then getting their players suspended. As it was, Cook Rugby Club were appalled at this guy. We're more than happy that he got suspended. I normally ask what's wrong with that shot. Any ideas? Now I've got all sorts of things like that the highlights are overblown, the composition is not right, but it's something much more fundamental.
He's left foot.
Sorry.
He's left foot.
That's it there.
Yeah.
The snap that came out of that leg was nothing ordinary. He broke his ankle and he broke both bones at the base of his foot. And it went right over. You can see it itself.
Yeah.
Their match was abandoned. I think Dungannon were leading by so many points it didn't matter. And he was a first-year medical student and had to defer his course because he had spent so long in traction in hospital. And almost a year later, he came out and hyperextended the same leg.
Oh no.
The knee went the wrong way and he decided that rugby was not for him at that point.
Oh God.
Exactly. Ravenhill, there are, I think, 4 internationals in that shot, plus Big Nick with the ball. Who used to play, I think he played for Zebras and played for Munster. Franco van der Merwe, Rory Best, Louis Picamol, Census Johnson from Picamol and Johnson from Toulouse. That was the night that Toulouse were 25-point favourites and Ulster beat them 39-0. There are times when Ulster play out of their skins and other times when you get so frustrated with them, it's not true. But there's talking to some of the Ulster coaches, Big Nick could not get himself up to play against Welsh teams or Scottish teams, but give him an English team or a French team and he became a man possessed. He used to sit in the changing rooms prior to the game apparently and read his Bible and then go out and commit mayhem.
Oh, gee.
You can see here it's the names of his, there's Nick and the 2 children and Maria. Interestingly, the joke is that Maria wears the trousers in his house. You have no idea the way she ordered them around. Anyway, that's Anne had a great comment on this when she said that Big Nick went over wearing 2 French internationals, Gail Ficou and Marchand. And he just picked up the base of the scrum and just was like a bull. Will Addison playing in the Ricoh Stadium in Coventry against Wasps. First game out for Ulster was a friendly. There's no crowd at all because it was a friendly, but that's him dancing out of a tackle. This won the PSA Photojournalism Award, top photojournalism PDI last year. Line Out Mayhem up at Murrayfield, Edinburgh. Ben Toulis took the ball, and I'd noticed in the one beforehand that he tended to overbalance slightly, and he got it this time, and the leg went up to counterbalance and falling backwards. I'm very pleased with that shot. I called it Line Out Mayhem, but I think I missed a trick. I think there's another title in there.
Yeah, fine rump, yeah.
But as I say, I'm very pleased with that shot. Same game.
Did he come down safely?
Sorry?
Did he come down safely?
He came down safely, yes. He actually had that for about 8-9 months as his avatar, or whatever you call it, on Facebook.
His profile.
Rob Little scoring here, Stockdale in the background, and 3 Edinburgh players trying but failing to get to him. This is a technique that a lady called Joan Blease sort of put out, and she's using it for all sorts of things. I used it for sport, and that is that you create a new layer. You go into your filters and camera raw and reduce the exposure by about 1 stop, and then with the layer mask on, you paint out the individuals, and it makes them stand out like 3D from the background. Now you have to decide whether that works or not, but it's done well for me. But I'm disappointed it hasn't done better. Same technique. No arms tackle. The number 13 didn't have any arms out, and he's put his arms out to save himself, but he shot this King's Scholar player into the air. Again, create a new layer, reduce exposure by 1 stop and camera raw, and create the layer mask, and then paint out the individual who's flying and the tackler. Somebody commented that this looked like the symbol for Pisces. Who's it right? Yes, the 2 fish that are wrapped around each other. Irish qualified against Ulster up in Belfast back in late August. On to women's rugby now. This was down in Barn Hall, I'd say Dublin, called it a bad hair day. Eve, who has played a couple of times, not five more, a couple of times, he played 4 or 5 times for Ireland. Unfortunately, Ireland went out and they're not going to be taking part in the Rugby World Cup. Were beaten by Scotland and Spain, of all people. Couldn't believe that series of results. Mind you, I couldn't believe some of the team that were selected, but that's another story. This is Ilse van Straten, Ulster against Connacht. Ilse, her former job was as a prison guard in Pretoria Central Prison in South Africa, correctional facility not known for its rehabilitation program. And in fact, she used to be brought over whenever there were problems in the male prison. She plays a linebacker in American football up here as well. The joy of scoring. Belfast Harlequins girl who had a problem with one eye and therefore was allowed to wear goggles at the time. I don't think she wears them now. Lucky enough in 2016 to cover the Olympic Repechage tournament down in Dublin, down in UCD at Belfield. I had a press pass. It's got 5 Olympic rings on it, and that's probably the closest I've ever going to be to the Olympics. This is Tunisia against Argentina. This was Zimbabwe against Madagascar. I must admit, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I got an email from Zimbabwe, and I thought somebody was going to offer me a lot of money if I would just give them my bank details because I was a very good person, but it wasn't. It was the girl that left wanting to know could I actually buy a print. Now I worked it out that it was going to be 27 trillion Zimbabwean dollars. So I sent her a high-res image and wished her all the best, and she sent me back an image of her house with the print up.
Oh, brilliant.
That's nice.
Did you add clarity to that one?
Sorry?
Did you add clarity to that one?
There's clarity there, but there's also that Luffa is done with the bleach bypass technique. And the background has been taken down. So that you don't get the problem of the hoards, the advertising hoarding. Ireland Wales down November a few years ago. Listen, I apologize. I'm going to offend somebody here or more than one person. I think it was
A few.
went through, and this has got two titles. It's never been used, but this has got two titles, and it's FU2 or FU squared. The ball was recycled very quickly, and Linda crashed over. Linda played her first game for Clermont Auvergne against Toulouse on Sunday. I'm trying to find out what the result was. She was a nurse at that stage, and it just qualified whenever she got the opportunity to turn professional in rugby. She was probably one of the success stories of the last championship there when Ireland failed to qualify. I think she was a poster girl for the health service down with you, because she was working 12-hour days for an incredible amount of time as a nurse. And it's interesting, actually, the men played on the Saturday, had Sunday off, light training on Monday, and then prepared for the next game. This game was played on the Sunday. Linda excused herself from the dinner at 9:30 and was on duty at 6 o'clock the next morning in the hospital. It's the comparison between men and women's sport that has done well. That was that won the gold medal in the women in sports section in the photo sport competition.
Cool.
Up north, the poster woman was Claire McLaughlin. She's a doctor working in Dundonald Hospital outside Belfast, many hours, and she got absolutely crunched by a New Zealander there. We timed it, and it was about 45 seconds before she got up, and had every ounce of wind knocked out of her. This was down in Dublin. Linda and Nicola leading the way, Kathy Dane pointing there. It seems to raise a smile because of where she's pointing, but that was the ball set back against Scotland. Ireland won very convincingly, but they didn't win very convincingly in Parma. That's just to prove I was there at that particular game. This is the Ireland-Wales one. Linda scored again, and it was about 16 degrees. It was late February, I think it was, or early March, and all of a sudden, everything got really cold. And the guy beside me who'd got a temperature gauge said, it's dropped to 3 degrees. And then the wind came.
And the hailstones.
And the hailstones.
I was there, yeah.
You remember, do you?
I do.
That was absolutely horrific. And the worst thing was that the Welsh showers failed. And they had to put all their clothes into the bags and go up to the other end of the ground to the Irish showers.
That's right, it was cold, wasn't it? You had to go to Wesley.
And that's it. They went from, Bective.
They were supposed to go on the north. They were supposed to go on Wesley. Wesley showers failed, and then they had to go back up to Bective. Yeah.
And that's what it was, yes, indeed. But it was pretty horrific. That's Anna breaking through. Now, why Anna was not on the team, I do not know. In Italy, but never mind. She's now playing for Gloucester Hartbury in England.
Oh.
Indeed. Now these were taken down in March, and the hoops that we had to climb through and things we had to jump over were nothing ordinary. I had to sit for a 1.5 hour COVID awareness course on the Wednesday, and also a stadium awareness course for Donnybrook, RDS, Aviva, and Ravenhill. And then on the Saturday, we had to report at 7 or register at 7 o'clock in the morning that we were fit to travel, and went down to 62 Lansdowne Road for a COVID test and a temperature test, and then out to Donnybrook to sit in isolation until the game at 3. But the only problem was that they didn't have parking in the ground. Now, there's nobody else there. It would be easy to do it, but you parked out beside Belvedere and walked down, and every single person walked across the road to Starbucks or Nero's or wherever it happened to be and bought coffee, standing in queues. Totally broke the whole protocol thing. But anyway, I call this not very ladylike, and it's won medals for me. The French girls had those amazing hairstyles. Somebody asked me, were they not frightened to get tackled by the hair? No, in rugby, you're penalised if you tackle by the hair, unlike American football, because a lot of the guys have dreadlocks and they can be tackled by them. Unless they're inside the helmet, they can be tackled by anything outside the helmet. That's Brittany, and I call that the jackal approaches.
You're good with your names, Bob.
Indeed, and that's Nicola on a charge down. The bootmister face. This was Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe. She made a fantastic break against Italy and went out under the posts. The girl on the right, Sene, she did her leg and with a stinger against England in March in Doncaster, and arrived back and was causing problems. So she was sent for a scan, requested from the waist down, and whoever it was did a full body scan, and a tumor was discovered in her neck, and it's been operated on, and she was back playing for Ireland again in October.
Brilliant.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Oh.
Now, this is really up to date. This was taken on Sunday. Saracens woman against Exeter Chiefs woman at Stonex Stadium in Barnet in London. We were over for a few days, see her daughter, and I was able to take in that game. Last image, and this is done very well for me, but the shape of the girl in the background, I think is priceless, and the expression on the face.
That's brilliant.
I put that up, and almost immediately she came back to me and says, please take that down.
Yeah.
And all the underneath all of a sudden appeared, too late, we've got it. By all her teammates. So she has a 16:12 of that on her wall.
Oh, Janie, that is good.
So thank you very much indeed for listening.
Thank you.
Finished.
Thank you.
Bob.
I just come out of this here and
Janie Mac.
Oh.
That was brilliant, Bob.
thank you very much. It's I see they're frozen here, but never mind.
I really, really enjoyed that.
All right now.
Yeah.
Are you back? You're back on the spaceship.
Indeed, I'm back in spaceship. Any questions you want to ask?
Yeah, I've got a couple of questions.
Sure.
Well, one, I've often put up photos, especially now with the women's rugby, and the ladies would ask me to take them down because it might be an unflattering pose or expression or something. How often would that happen to you?
Once.
Okay.
The last image, and even then, I think when she asked me to take it down, it was tongue in cheek.
Right.
Because I say all her teammates really enjoyed it, and as I say, she got a 16:12 print out of it as well.
Okay.
But to be honest with you, no one, and I've done Ireland Ulster, and we have two AIL teams up here, Cook and Malone, and all the other teams in the Ulster Championships. Nobody has ever asked me about taking them down.
No, I find more with the local teams. I would get asked, can you please take that?
No,
down?
it's never happened. I mean, obviously, actually, we have managed to get a certain reputation in the front row union now. If you go onto the site, you see, but people are actually, players appear to be very happy to be on the site.
Oh, very good, very good.
And you had another question? You said you had a couple, maybe not.
Yeah, no, it was back to the In the detail panel, you said you use sharpening at 100% on raw. I never go over 80. So I might try with,
Wait, yeah, sharpening is 100.
yeah, I might try with the sharp with a 100.
Radius is 1.
Yeah,
Detail is 0.
yeah,
And you know the masking tool.
yeah.
You know, you finger on, well, I'm on a Mac, finger on Alt and to create the white screen and then move the,
Yeah.
so you're only sharp, that means you're only sharpening the edges, you're not sharpening the middle. And
Yeah, I
then
do that around about 98%.
yeah, and then the well, I'm usually between 40 and 50 on the masking, and then
Oh, right.
on luminance I would probably go to 20 if I'm shooting at very high ISOs. I would go to 20. If I'm shooting 100 to 1000, I would leave it at 0.
Okay. So you
The ones you saw at Picnic, and they were all 10,000 to 15,000 ISO. And the ones, those 2 table tennis shots were 25,600.
right. Now, I shoot with the 1DX Mark II, Mark I, and the previous, whatchamacallit, 1D Mark IV.
I'm shooting with a 1DX too.
Yeah, and but I don't know. Thankfully, I haven't had to go up very high very often, but now and again I've been up at
There's
25.
some
And
ground.
the 2 manages it well. The 1, okay, but the 2 manages it well.
Two manages it well. There's some grounds I refuse to go to.
Yeah.
Armagh is one of them, because quite frankly, our front room lighting is better than the lighting they have down there.
Yeah.
It is absolutely appalling. You're shooting at 500 or 400 of a second at 25,600, and it's just awful.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they're wondering why this and this and this isn't happening. Yeah.
Well, they wonder why we weren't covering their floodlight games.
Mhm.
There's no earthly reason why we would, because you can't get any images.
Yeah. So, anyone else got any questions there, guys?
Is this free into sports activities for photographers?
You
have to pay.
I don't think, well, certainly in rugby, I've never paid ever for rugby, or nor hockey nor athletics. There may be a fee if you're paying, coming as a member of the public and shooting over the fence, but I've never had to, and I get accreditation obviously for international athletics and international rugby.
Especially international, is there none international either?
Sorry?
Is there no payment or no?
No, you don't pay at all.
There's no
You
fee for photographers in international photography.
That's right, you get accreditation through the IRFU.
If you're lucky.
Well, if you're lucky, yes, because I say down and I was one of 6 photographers to get into the woman.
Yeah.
And we sat in isolation at the corners of the ground, and I must admit that I brought a pork pie and some salads with me, and I sat in one corner, and I became aware of telephoto lenses being trained on me. And then the phone went, where did you get the food? And I said, I brought it with me, and there was silence. Because normally you're actually very well catered for, but on those occasions, everything is in isolation.
Yeah, very well catered for. You never get more than a sample and a cup of tea.
Oh, good Lord, it's
You must have gone to the posh places.
Well, the Aviva and
I've never
Donnybrook.
photographed there.
Yeah, it's sandwiches, soups, coffees, teas, endless biscuits, which I shouldn't be eating.
Oh, cool. So which would be your favorite sport to photograph there, Bob?
Probably rugby.
Yeah.
Simply because I was a referee, and when you referee for 32 seasons, you realize what the shortcuts are. I remember that I mentioned the Junior World Cup. There was a line of us, and the ball was flashed out to the right, and the guy scored, and all the photographers have been looking the other way, and they all looked at me and said, "You got that? How did you get that?" And I said, "I looked at the scrum half size." And when you're a referee, you know, learn to look at certain things so you know what's going to happen. If it says you 15 or 20 meters, that's what you do.
Brilliant, brilliant, excellent. How do you manage editing, being colorblind? Only joking.
No. If you notice, there's a large number of monos amongst my work. First of all, I set my my white balance to 5,400, I think it is, and I don't alter that. And that means that I'm not trying to play around with color temperatures on in Lightroom.
Right.
If you go for average white balance, you could be all over the place.
Yeah.
But I set the degrees Kelvin to 5,400, and I leave it there.
Right.
Because I really do have desperate problems with red and green. To the extent that I'm okay during the day, but driving with me at night can be sort of an interesting thing, because you can't see which light's on and the traffic lights.
Yeah. I hope you have good hearing.
Well, people think that Anne's a very bad backseat driver. It's not. It's self-preservation. She calls the lights out to me, the colours out to me. And during the day, you can see top light or bottom light, but at night, it's just a light shining at you.
Gee, man. Oh, well, Bob, I think we're gonna let you go now.
Okay.
I want to say, unless of course anyone else has any questions. No. So, Bob, thank you very, very much for your expertise and for a wonderful presentation there. We will be making a donation to the Marie Curie Foundation in lieu of a presentation. In lieu of
That's very good of you. Thank you very much.
Requested. So that was very generous of you, and we will be organising that.
Sorry, Anne and I have been doing that during lockdown, and I think it's about £2,000 roughly that we've managed.
Oh, excellent.
From everywhere from Gloucester, Pennsylvania to somewhere in the Netherlands. Actually, Zoom's a wonderful thing, you know.
Yeah, it brings people closer together, doesn't it?
It does indeed, yeah.
But we still can't wait to get back to in person.
Nothing beats seeing prints.
Yeah, absolutely. It's totally a totally different ball game, as we say. So, but perhaps I will see you on the sidelines one of these days, Bob. You
Hopefully
never
so.
know.
Hopefully so.
Thank you very, very much. It was absolutely
Pleasure.
wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you. I'm going to head on. You can talk about me when I'm gone.
Thank you.
Night, night.
Good night, God bless.
Good night, Bob.
Good night.
Well, guys, that was wonderful. That was brilliant. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you guys all did too.
Yes, very, very good.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. So with just one little bit of thingamajiggy information, and I'm just after deleting it. Next month, our speaker is Ken Scott, and our motivation for next month. Oh, hold on, let me grab it back up. I deleted it by mistake. Deleted the tab, or does anybody know it offhand? Does anyone else have that tab? Darren, do you have that tab up? No? I'll tell you now. Yeah, I'll tell you now. I'll tell you now. There. Go, open up, open up. Don't mess me around. Perspective.
Perspective or something.
Perspective, yeah. So that will be our the next one, and it's due in for our November meeting. Okay, guys? Is there
Thanks
anything
very much, Bernie.
you would like to say?
No. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And good luck, Mike.
Thank you very much. I hope
Take
to get to
care.
the November meeting, but we should be out before Christmas. We're going to really miss this area. The quality of life around here between people and scenery and everything about it is fantastic. And I'm not really looking forward to London.
Yeah, but hold on, you said you're coming back.
Well, hopefully so. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
only
It,
a short
it depends on finding a 2-bedroom place that's really cheap,
Yeah.
which might not be easy.
time.
But we have booked a place for rental for next summer for about I think 6 weeks. So we'll be
great.
back. Yeah.
That's the way to do it, right?
Couldn't keep away.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, when you are back, do by all means please contact us again. Okay.
Yeah, certainly, definitely. will.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
Great.
Thanks
stuff.
very much, everybody.
Well,
Good
we'll
night.
see you next month.
Look
Alan.
after yourself, Mike.
Thank you.
Guys, I want to thank you all for attending what I think was
All the
a,
best, Mike.
sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, take care and have a lovely evening.
And you as well. All the best. Enjoy the rest